Hi, today we're going over section 6.1, solving quadratic equations using the square root property and completing the square. In this video, we'll continue to look at the class activity with the algebra tiles, and we'll do problems 7 through 10. All right, notice in the last couple examples, we had perfect square binomials. And so when we went to do our algebra tiles, it formed a perfect square, and we thought that was great. But what happens if we don't have a perfect square? Let's try problem 7. X squared plus 6x plus 11. So we can go to our algebra tiles. So we have an x squared, and then we have 6 x's. So there's 3 of them. And you guys can do this too. And then there's 3 more. I'm just copying and pasting them to make it faster. Okay, so we have x squared plus 6x plus 11. Okay, so I need 11 of these. Okay, so when I try to fill these in, notice I fill in all the tiles. And how many will I get? I'll get 9. So what happened here? We have a couple of extras after we make our square. So just kind of working through those manipulatives on your own screen will be helpful to help cement in your mind how this process works. This is x plus 3 times x plus 3, which gives me x squared plus 6x plus 9. But if I wanted to have plus 11, I have these 2 extra. That's how we can write it in vertex form. The x minus h quantity squared and then plus k are those 2 extra. So this would be x plus 3 quantity squared, and then we'd have those 2 extra. You go to the tiles and try number 8, and I'll see you in a minute. How would you do x squared minus 6x plus 10? So here you would have your blue x squared, and then you'd have the negative bars. So you have the negative 3, and then a negative 3. So then you'd have x minus 3 times x minus 3, and then here you would have 9 of the ones. Okay, so what happens here? Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And then what we have 10. So we'd have this 1 extra. So how would you write that? So this would be x minus 3 quantity squared. And then we'd have just that 1 extra. So, and you would just add the 1. Awesome. Now let's look at problem 9 and 10. Okay, in the last 2 examples, we could make a square with some extra pieces. But what if we don't have enough pieces? How can we add those pieces without changing the overall value? So let's try again. X squared plus 8x plus 12. So let's go to our algebra blocks. Just open the tiles here. And x squared plus 8x plus 12. So there's 8 x's. We want to split them right in half. So we'll have 4 and 4. In order to make this square, you want to split those in half. And then if I filled in more of these, 4 times 4 is 16. So we'd have 16. But we only have 12. How can we do that? So how do I complete this square? What do I need to do so that I can have that perfect square and put that in vertex form? All right, so here we would have x plus 4 quantity squared. And then when this is a perfect square, then this would be the x squared plus the 8x plus 16. But I don't have 16, I only have 12. And so how do I get from 16 to 12? The answer would be subtract the 4. And so in order to have what I have here, x squared plus 8x plus 12, I'd need to have the x plus 4 quantity squared and then subtract 4 in order to get the 12. We should have had 16, but we only have 12. So what happens here? We subtracted those 4. Awesome. Let's look at the next one. Let's look at x squared plus 4x minus 6. So you know you'd have your x squared, your 4x, so you'd have 2, and then you'd have 2 here, right? So this would be the x squared and plus the 4x, but this would only yield 4, but I need minus 6. So how do you do that? We see that on this one, we have x squared plus 4x plus 4, but we don't need positive 4, we need negative 6. How can we get to negative 6 if we start with positive 4? So x squared plus 4x plus 4, and then something to get us to negative 6. What do we do? Well, we'd have to subtract 10. So the vertex form is x plus 2 quantity squared. So this is x plus 2 on both sides. And then what do we have to tack on over here to get me to negative 6? Minus 10. Hopefully that's helped you kind of see with the pictures how to solve completing the square. So when you're trying to solve to complete the square, make sure the squared term has a coefficient of 1. For this class it will. And then rewrite it, x squared plus bx plus whatever you need to complete that square. And then you move the c value to the other side, and you're adding whatever you needed there. Okay, we'll look at that in the next video. Step 3, take half of the x term, fill in the blanks, and factor that perfect square trinomial, and use the square root property to solve. In our next video, we'll go through this process. I hope you enjoyed the algebra tiles. We'll see you next time.